Hello everyone and welcome to the Round 1 Roundup reaction stream for 2024, first one of the season, and what a round it was, of course. Plenty of points. I'm expecting a lot of 1200, 1300s. All of the big gun captains went absolutely massive, 100 plus. A lot of the pod picks also did quite well. Mid to our refs, didn't really matter who you had. They all went pretty well, 70, 80 plus. Sorry, I couldn't keep a straight face anymore. What a crap week for point scoring. I had a good week nonetheless. But yes, for NRL point scoring for SuperCoach, it was quite average. 869 points is what I scored. I'd say that's probably just about... Look, considering I had Piakura's 4 points in the last weekend's game against the Roosters, I wasn't expecting big things since then. And 869 seems around okay. I think if you scored about 900 plus, you're probably done just fine. Okay, 900 plus, yeah, pretty good. Anything over 950, I think you've had a cracking week. You probably had a few pods, maybe like Labour or Val Holmes, who both went 100 plus. Or you maybe Captain Latrell or Captain Turbo. Not many people actually went with captaincy on those two, mainly because we just didn't know what the Vegas games look like. But yeah, thanks everyone for being in the chat already. Dino, I love this comment. What a messy week for SuperCoach. I bet Aman's hair isn't messy. No, of course not. Can never be messy in front of you guys. The beard as well, got a trim just before the stream as well, of course. Had to look my best for you all. 921 Captain Ponga. Bradsky, look, you're saying what a rough week. I think I would take 921 if I were you. Lolo, just, doing Lolo things. Yeah, we got to talk about that at some point. Todd Payton, Tamalolo must have pictures of Todd Payton. I don't know what he's done to wrong the man, but yeah, minutes, Tamalolo, just not a thing anymore under Todd Payton. 21 minute stint, and that was it. So yeah, that was a pretty cruel blow for anyone who went Lolo as like a mid-range front row forward. Like 21 minutes, you can't predict that. Like just ridiculous, isn't it? Am I with a masterstroke talking me out of Wade Egan into Robson? Yeah, Reece Robson had a good week. I wouldn't say it's a masterstroke in me telling you that. I think it was more just about that Robson's 80 minutes. Egan has a bit of issues, and Egan also did pick up an injury. We did say like that guy he finds a knock or a niggle or an injury or a head knock all the time. Let's see a few scores in here. 836, 846, 938 is pretty good. 895, 908, 1162 from Darren. I'm not 100% sure if that's true or not. Please, if you can prove it to me somehow, I don't know. 1162 sounds crazy high this week. 880, 889. Yeah, a lot of these scores, 778, that's probably on the lower end, but a lot of scores around this mid 800s. I'd say that's probably realistically about par. My favorite YouTuber from Lincoln, mate, I appreciate that. Amongst the must be hundreds of millions of YouTubers, I'll take that being your number one. Labour, impressive. Val Holmes should always be in your team. Val Holmes is, I haven't played SuperCoach for lots and lots of years, 4 years now, but I'm starting to form a love-hate relationship with Val Holmes, where he's a guy who I always think is good, goal kicking, we like him, but whenever we own him, or at least I own him in my team, 60, 65, solid, not pulling up too many trees, and when you don't own him, 85s, 90s, 100s and 10s, 120s, and you're just like, could you not have done that when I owned you? Val Holmes just feels like that guy to me. Just always gets good scores when I don't own him, and when he's not very popular. So if you did start with Val Holmes, he was obviously the premium centre wing this week who did best outside of, say, Ruben Garrick from last weekend. Captain Val, Darren. Okay, that's a really good call. And you had Fanua Blake. Of course, Fanua Blake, after all the preseason being said, can't keep up the attacking stats, can't keep up the tries, and goes and gets a line break try just to rub it in our face. So yeah, okay, fair enough, Darren. That's a really great week from you. You could be in the top 100 for maybe potentially. Captaining Val, that's a great move. Good stuff. So I think what I've put in the stream is just obviously fire in your questions, fire in your initial trade thoughts. Mine is going to be, I think, fairly straightforward. Spencer Leniu is going to go to the judiciary tomorrow, likely going to be suspended. I've left money in the bank to go Spencer Leniu to Terrell May. If Spencer Leniu is getting suspended, then that's only good for Terrell May in terms of minutes, more reliance on him as well. Even with JWH coming back, I don't have any concerns. So Terrell May, this is stemming from last weekend too. But yeah, Spencer Leniu to Terrell May will be one very easy move I think I'll be likely doing this week for my team. Haven't got another trade in mind at the moment. The games that I missed this week, I missed the Dragons Titans game. I was just out at a dinner. I haven't watched the KO mini of that yet. But obviously, it's from what I've heard and what I've read, Dragons are pretty dominant, and Lomax particularly apparently looked really, really good as well. How'd my tips go? Not great. I'm pretty sure I tipped like the first 3 games I got all wrong, and then I think I got I got the Warriors game wrong too. So I got Storm. I tipped Storm. I got 1, 2. I think I got 3 out of 8 this week. Yeah, not that great. It's not a good week on the tips for me. Fair enough. Okay, so I think we'll break it down game by game. Maybe we start at the Cowboys one. Actually, relevant comment here from David Bainbridge. So let's look into this. Lolo was interviewed on ABC and just said that the game was over by the time his second stint was due, and happy to let the young guys go and save his strength for a long season. Interesting. Okay, but again, this is it wasn't injury related, so that's one. But that's probably even worse in the sense of if there's any time that the Cowboys are up ahead, Lolo is not going to be the guy who they're going to keep on the field. So that just always means there is a cap on his potential minutes. It's only going to be when the Cowboys games are tight that Lolo is going to be required. But the thing is with Cowboys, they have got a fairly good draw. I think I can't remember who they play next week. Let's have a quick look-see here. But they've got a pretty good run. So they've got Knights, which is obviously not the easiest, but the Knights didn't look the best themselves. Dragons away. So again, on paper looks good, but Dragons could be improved. Broncos, Titans, Parramatta, Sharks. Like, it's kind of hard to look into the draw and say, like, are these games for Lolo? But I don't know. I feel like with Lolo, you're $4,000 away from Troll May. This minutes thing is just a bit of an issue, isn't it? So he kind of feels like a guy who's going to be really tough to hold on to when you know that, even if he plays like 40 something minutes, he's probably only going to get you 40 to 45. It's kind of just like, well, for 4K more, get Terrell May, who's got a much more SuperCoach friendly game. The minutes probably isn't going to be as much of an issue with Lolo. So yeah, that Lolo probably feels like one where, good context, David, appreciate you putting that in there because I didn't see that. But yeah, just that doesn't seem that positive for him, that they're happy to rest him if the game's kind of going in the Cowboys' favour. Scored 1062 from Proe7. That is a really good score. Congrats to you. Captain Haas and VC Holmes should have switched. To be honest, captaining Haas, he's one of the better players to have captained this week because most of the big guns went 50 or less. Like Ponga 50, Hines updated to like 34, Cleary I think went to 36, Moses like mid-30s as well. Yeah, so I think out of the Cowboys game as well, Zach Lay. So I mean the whole game was the edges for the Cowboys. Like it was Nanai and Laybot, and then it was kind of Val Holmes and Murray Taulagi. Like they were the ones who kind of ran the show in terms of the point scoring. Laybot in particular looked really good. Val Holmes, we kind of know what you get from him, the goal kicker. That obviously adds points to his score. But Laybot did. I mean, the second try a little bit dubious. That's probably the only thing I'd look into is that he was awarded that second try for a penalty try. Now, I thought it was a pretty generous penalty try. And so, I mean, 101 is good, obviously. But take away maybe 17 points. That's still a good score. Don't get me wrong. You're still looking at an 84 for him. So that's still a really solid score from Laybot. He's definitely value. Like he was already priced at value. Like he was 457k, and he had a 57 average in his 4 games from last season. So like he was already at value, and so I'd be keen to. I don't know if I'd jump on him straight away. There was actually a comment I saw about someone doing Pia Kura to Laybot via duels. Not particularly a fan of just selling Pia Kura because I think it seems as though he's tracking well, and the score of 4 is completely out of our control. Like it was a head knock. We can't predict this. Like it wasn't like he's played 80 minutes and scored 4 points. He played like 2 minutes and scored 4 points. Like I don't want to jump so early on selling Pia Kura because I feel like we chose him for a reason, and that was he's guaranteed pretty much 80 minutes. Good Broncos team. He can get attacking stats we saw in the trials. Like so, I think Laybot seems at the moment a decent trade in, but I don't know if I'd be sacrificing Pia Kura for him. Terrell May is a trap from Quirky Worm. I disagree. Like him even coming off the bench, like he played 55 minutes last week, and I can see him easily playing 45, 50 minutes. Trent Robertson had good comments to say about him as well. He's at a good price, 434k. Like you're really not going to be too concerned about that. And at his price, I think he will offer value. So I don't think he's a trap. Like I wouldn't expect 55 minutes from him every week, 45 to 50. But with his good work rate, you're looking at about a mid 50s, pushing potentially up to 60 average. Which him being priced at like a low 40s, he's going to make money. So I think he's definitely not a trap, in my opinion anyway. 906 for you, Ian Marzu, captain. I think 900 plus is a good score. If anyone's joining in, I was on 869. I only had Lukey play in the Cowboys game, so obviously I'm not expecting to update an extra 31 points, unless Highland Lukey is named Nico Hines. But 869 for me, maybe it hovers around that a little bit, but I'm not expecting too much difference. Sorry guys, I'm just going to open my window just so I can get some air. It's a bit stuffy in here. Owning Labour and home saved you. Yeah, crazy praying mantis. That was a really good play. In terms of the rest of the Cowboys, I mean, a few of the pods like Nan and I did well. I mean, Lukey was gifted a try. So like the 64 points, take away 17 from that. What is that? Quick math. What's that? 47? No, that's not right. Oh no, it is right. 47. So 47, I think he played about 59 minutes. I've also seen these comments as well. I think who's mentioned it in the chat. I just saw it before. Let me try to find it. Yeah, from Ian. Yeah, Todd Payton said he's easing Lukey into an 80-minute back rower. I also heard that on the commentary that they're potentially looking at easing him into that full 80-minute role. Hard to tell in today's game because he did get a HIA, and the game was pretty much in their court. So the minutes rotation probably not the most clear, but happy with that. Like, I mean, I'm not going to look into that 64 score too much. Like, he was pretty much gifted a try, so he got an extra 17, which look, I'll happily take. But I'm not looking at that saying Lukey 64 absolute must have, like he's going to get you that every week. But I do like that there's some chat about him potentially easing into a bigger minute role. Peter Cruz stuffed you up. Yeah, look, that was already an ominous sign for the beginning of this week, wasn't it? That happened in Vegas. None of the big captains went that big either. And yeah, Drinkwater owners, so you'd be pretty annoyed that, he wasn't really that involved in most of the attack. So what did he score? He scored 46, and because of Carlfelt dropping that ball, it pretty much stopped Drinkwater going up to like 68 because Drinkwater would have got the line break try assist, I believe. So he downdated to back to 46. So yeah, frustrating if you were a Drinkwater owner or captain. I know a lot of people were riding their hopes on a Drinkwater captain today. Look, encouraging that the Cowboys scored 43 points. Dolphins, again, some sad news with Tom Gilbert. Looks like he had a blood clot, which means his ACL injury is delayed by another 3 months. That sounds pretty bad. Connolly Lemuelu got a dislocated kneecap. So that doesn't sound like I'll wait for NRL Physio to give his guidance on it. But again, that sounds like a pretty significant injury. So they're losing already a couple of forwards, the Dolphins. So again, I look at the Dolphins as a team to target for point scoring for your SuperCoach players. And we saw that today. If a semi-decent team in attack comes up against them, they can put on the points. So yeah, happy with, at least we got some evidence of that. Flegler 72, he got a line break try, so about 42 points in 54 minutes. So he did play 54 minutes, which is probably going to be, I'd suspect, what he will get, which is pretty good. Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow, aside from that whole Highland Lukey incident, he had his flashes of brilliance, so ended up on 72, so worked out in the end where he got those bigger attacking stats and got that try assist for Bostock. I've got some people on Twitter telling me that Bostock was always a terrible buy because he's got low base. I'm like, I kind of knew all of this anyway, but it was also, we just don't really have that many cheapies, and I never want to really rely on him playing. It's just kind of like, can you get those attacking stats, and can the Dolphins actually score some points to make some money? 38 points at the moment with that try. Obviously, he's not great. That's a 21 in base, but it is what it is. He's obviously not going to be setting the world on fire, but we'll hope for the best. Who captained Ponga? Yeah, obviously I captained Ponga. I was very big on Ponga. Only 50 points in the end. I was, look, the Knights being that bad and very clunky in attack, but he still walked away with 50 points. If that's kind of his flaw, look, obviously I want more than that, but some encouraging signs, and they do have a long-term good draw. So I'm happy with Ponga for the time being. I think, and that's one of the big lessons or big things to echo, I think, out of this week is that we just need to be patient. Don't be going and selling Nico Hines, Cleary, Ponga, these kind of guys just because they had one bad score this week. Like Cleary, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but he went 50, 45, and there was talk of do you sell Cleary? And then the 2 weeks after that, I think he went 154, 110. It won't take long for these guys to kind of get their mojo, especially with Nico Hines. They've got the Bulldogs next week, and then it's the Tigers the week after. Hines can have a break even of 300, and I'm not selling him before he's got the West Tigers in round 3. That's just my perspective anyway. And yeah, with 7 tries for the Cowboys, Drinkwater will come good. He'll be fine. There'll be games where he'll pretty much command the show. Just didn't need to be so involved today, I guess. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, Hamish. I think I'd be yeah, Turbo looked really good. We did talk a bit about Turbo early in the week, but yeah, he looked very, very good last weekend. So I think probably out of this game, not much more to comment on, I think. I mean, a few people were looking at like Ray Stone, but I guess not really too relevant. Marshall King, fairly quiet, only the 46 points. But yeah, I think Zach Labart probably is one of the guys who I think I probably won't be jumping on straight away this week. I'll probably give it one more week, but maybe round 3, I might look to jump on him if he looks the goods again. The thing with round 1 you have to remember is that it's the least important for price changes because everything is done on a 3-round rolling average. And so your round 2 and round 3 scores will stay in that 3-round rolling average for longer. So they're actually more important for cash generation. So Laybuck could go 101, 50-50. That 101 is going to drop out first out of his 3-round rolling average. But if he goes 101, say he went 50-50, 101, he's going to make more money because he's got that 101 in his 3-round for longer. But obviously not the case, given that he got that in round 1. But yeah, he probably looked pretty good. I think we'll quickly move then on to the Dragons game because I'm seeing a couple of comments and questions about that. So yeah, Zach Lomax. So someone's asked thoughts on Lomax in at the expense of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. It's tough because I don't know if I'd be looking to just sell RTS. Like he ended up, I think, on 47 with no major attacking stats. That's kind of his floor. Like that 47 is close to, I think, his value. I think he's priced at about low 50s. And we saw the Warriors game was weird. Like first half, they were like really, really on it. I thought they were just going to run away with the game. But the Sharks did hold their nerve in the first half and then eventually managed to score some points in the second half. I don't know if I'd be selling RTS at least for now. Like the one thing I will say with the Dragons is they do have a pretty good run. So we'll look at their games here. And again, guys, I probably can't comment too much on this game just because I haven't watched it yet. I do want to watch the at least the KM Mini, but yeah, particularly want to watch Zach Lomax because I did hear a lot of good things about him. So yeah, if we look at the upcoming games, they do have the Dolphins round 2. So obviously that's, based on what we've just seen, looks a good matchup for point scoring. Cowboys, Manly, Knights, a little bit tougher, but they do have the home game for, I think, looks like home games round 3, round 4. Then they've got the Tigers round 6 after that Newcastle game. Like, it's not a terrible run. Like, they don't play like Penrith until round 13. So they don't really verse like a top tier defense until round 13. So the good thing with Lomax is because he's a goal kicker, he kind of can generally get around the 60 points at least the 50s pretty safely. But yeah, playing on the wing, for Supercoach, we generally do like wingers. They generally get more attacking stats, more line breaks, and more, not necessarily always more base, but they do take more runs, so better chance of like tackle busts and things. So it's generally a better position Supercoach point scoring wise. So I definitely want to watch the highlights of this game. Want to watch Lomax, Tyrell Sloan 103. Like I don't know if anyone who is a new kind of player this season. I'm reading less into Tyrell Sloan's score, even though because he's done this in the past where he has a few games where he's done really good, and then people buy him, and then he just becomes, oh, what's going on here? What's happened? Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, don't do that to me. Oh. Oh, you guys can see me. Can you see / hear me? Okay, sorry. Yeah, I don't know what just happened. Literally, YouTube just went connection lost. My Wi-Fi completely dropped out. I had to reconnect, refresh the stream. Yeah, there's a bit of lag. Sorry. I think I don't know what's happened there. Random. Literally all going smoothly, and then the Wi-Fi just completely dropped out. As long as you can hear me, I guess that's okay. But yeah, lagging out. Okay, now it says excellent connection again. Hairline is too strong. It's messing up the Wi-Fi. Mr. Charity, you absolutely kill me. Yeah, my YouTube is now saying excellent connection. Apologies about that, guys. Hopefully it picks itself back up soon. No idea. Choppy video. Yeah, okay. Encoding overloaded. Yeah, something on OBS is saying consider turning out video settings or using a faster encoding preset. I have no idea how to do that on the fly. Audio's fine, still choppy. Yeah, okay. Look, I'll press on. As long as you can hear as well, that's fine. That's the main thing, I guess. But yeah, definitely want to watch Lomax. Big watch from him. I was watching the scores during the game, and a few guys standing out was Raymond Faitala-Mariner. He was on like 50 at halftime. Tom Eisenhuth as well. I think he was on like 44 in like 35 minutes. I was like, what the hell is going on here? He's just making tackle after tackle. I think he had 34 tackles in like the first half. The only issue with him, I guess, is potentially Luciano Leilua coming back next week. But yeah, Eisenhuth played lock, obviously, which probably helped in terms of his. Yeah, Dale, you're right. It was the microwave. Yeah, someone using that happens in my house as well. People use the microwave and it just kills the internet. I think that's what happened because I did hear the microwave door close. So that's probably what's happened. So hopefully the video comes back on track. Okay, yeah, so I guess that's probably all to comment. I just want to see with them, like, Viliama Fifita from the Dragons played like 15 minutes, so not a whole heap. But yeah, watching for sure Eisenhuth, Faitala-Mariner when I rewatched that game highlights. I guess on the Titans side, probably Tino was the main one. Like, he was, I think he was on like 72 all in base power, like just an absolute animal. Outside of that, not really too much. I guess probably the biggest killer was no Kieran Foran. That probably didn't help Beau Fermor. So he only ended up scoring, 34 points here. So not a lot. He doesn't have the best work rate. He generally needs to get those attacking stats. So not the best. I think that Foran was out. And that didn't really help Beau Fermor in particular. Kazaraki donating for Ahmad's internet bills. By the way, Flanagan, start with Galvin. What do you think for cash gen? Yeah. Obviously Flanagan a good score here. Scored 59 or 58, I should say. That did include a try. So I wonder how often is he going to get those kind of attacking stats. I don't know if it was a line break try. Let's assume it wasn't. We're looking at about a low 40 score, which look at his price is good. He will make some money. But yeah, I want to see it probably one more time before I switch someone like a Lockie Galvin. But he could actually be one of the better lower end 5/8s to watch out for. But no, Gazaraki, I appreciate a lot that donation. That is really, really kind of you. And yeah, that made me chuckle a little bit. I just have to tell I'm going to text, don't use the microwave. I'm going to say, don't use the microwave. It killed my stream. Please. There, have to add the please. If you want to ask someone to do something, at least be polite about it. I guess that's all out of that game. Few comments on Arrow. So I think people are asking about what will I do with Jai Arrow. So I want to I kind of want to give it a week just because he played that game so busted in round one. Like, he had the shoulder issue. He was limping after his first tackle. So I feel like I want to give him one more week of hopefully being healthy and fit. He did play through, but he played I think 50 minutes, which obviously isn't the best. I would hope for more. I guess there's no other standout front row forward that I can think of apart from maybe Terrell May and around the 400k range, that is. Terrell May and then maybe Flegler. Flegler did score quite well, 72 points. But even Flegler, that 72 points did include a line break try. So that's, 42 points base power. Not fantastic. I think if Arrow is your avenue to Terrell May, I think, again, it's not something you have to do this week because, at least Arrow's probably going to be playing in round 2. So I think it kind of depends on what you want to do elsewhere in your team in round 3. I don't mind front-ending it, though, in round 2, because if you think Terrell May is someone you're definitely going to want in your team, by doing that trade in round 2, it leaves you free to do at least 3 other moves in round 3 if you decide to use a boost. And these early rounds, while saving trades is always good, it's helpful to, make sure you get the right cheapies in. If you've identified a player whose role has completely changed to what you think, jumping on them early season is probably the best time to help set up your team. So trading heavily at the start is not a bad ploy. In my case, Lenu to May is a very easy trade. I just can't think of anything else at the moment that's super pressing in my team. Obviously, I might have different thoughts come TLT. So I kind of don't really know what else I'll do with my second trade for round 2. So I might just save it, and then maybe round 3 I might do a boost. So effectively by round 3 I'm getting an extra week of information on minutes and roles, and I can use a boost. And it's the same as if I did two trades in round 2, 2 trades in round 3. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like with Flegler, I'm not sure if I just want to jump on him purely because like he did get a line break try. You won't get that every week. And so without that, he scores 42. I guess the minutes though were encouraging. You need an air fryer. I do own an air fryer, LD. I do quite like the air fryer as well. It's a very handy, very handy tool. So I think so I think with Arrow, that's probably my thoughts on him, whether you hold or whether you sell. Ben Hunt and Gamble played off this week. Good. Yeah, that was a good call, McGruff. Shout out to one of my colleagues who sent me a team last week that included both Lomax and Ben Hunt. And he said, what do you think? And I said, so many Dragon players. Are you sure you want so many? I hope he didn't listen to me, and I hope he kept his team as is, because he would have scored a lot of points this week, keeping Lomax and Ben Hunt. I guess, probably another thing out of that Titans game was Keenan Palacia moved to the bench. He only played 30-odd minutes, so only ended up scoring 22. So, that was obviously not ideal for anyone who started with Palacia, seeing him named to the bench, and annoying because at his price range, there's not a lot of options you could actually trade to. So a lot of people probably just had to keep him and play him this week, and obviously didn't do the best. Braden Gale, $2.99. Cheers, Gazaraki. Beat me to it. Good luck, fellas. I appreciate it so much, Braden. You guys being very kind, despite the I can see some lag actually as well on the video. So hopefully it's not getting too bad, but at least hopefully you guys can you can hear me okay. We know how gorgeous you are. Don't worry. Turn the camera off. It's lagging pretty hard. Maybe I can turn the camera off and see what that does. Let's see. I don't want to necessarily... Okay, let's see if that works. So I'm streaming and you can't see my face anymore. I did turn off the camera. Let's see if that helps things. I'll try that for the next couple of minutes. Obviously I don't want it to be lagging. I'm sorry guys about that. All right. So I think we'll press on. So I think Eels Bulldogs, there definitely was a lot to pick out of this game. Josh Curran, 52 points. I did end up sticking with him. The whole minute situation for those Bulldogs forwards is a little bit messy, just because with Addo-Carr getting injured, it meant Jamin Salmon moved to the centres. And so I think the whole middle rotation isn't very clear. So like Josh Curran played 67 minutes, Salmon played like 80. I think the big one is probably, at least from a cheapie standpoint, Puasa Famasuli, who I didn't end up starting with just because I wanted to spread my coverage. I didn't want to be loading up on too many too many Bulldogs middles. He didn't really play that many minutes. I think he played, I'm just having a look here. He played 20 minutes stint. Like it's not enough for your cheapie front row forward. So he only ended up scoring 15 points. Sam Hughes did play 28 minutes. So again, not a huge amount of minutes. He may build up into more minutes over time, but at least for the time being, he's probably not going to be a reliable second front row forward starter. The minutes situation I think isn't going to be very clear. Curran playing 63 minutes. That could be his role, but we just don't fully know. But I'm happy with the 52 points, pretty much all in work rate. So I'll take that from Curran getting the 52 points there. Don't want to miss out on the hair though. Looking for a big run. I'm only here to watch your face. What? No hair cam? Okay, look, I'll put it back on for you guys, and let's hope it's not too laggy. So I'll pop it back on screen, and you can see my laggy face. And sending photos of Aman's hair, $20 a pop. You guys are milking my hair for your own revenue streams apparently. So I think outside of that, for the Dogs, what else? Blake Wilson was pretty good. 72 points, did score a line break try. He's generally always been fairly good. I would have been interested in him if he was a bit cheaper, but he's like mid 500k, so just a bit too expensive for me. I guess William Kikau, 44 points. That included a try assist, line break assist, like 24 points in base. I'm like, does he even tackle? Anyway, Kikau obviously not scoring too many points there. Franklin Pele 2.0 does feel like the it does feel like Powasa could be that. If he's playing 20 minutes, like, yeah, that's not ideal at all. Reed Miney, okay, 51. On the Eels side of things, Bryce Cartwright, great for my draft team. So signed to play draft this year for the first time, and my second row forward actually killed it this week. Tohu Harris, Eli Katoa, and Bryce Cartwright. 116 points for Cardi Party. How good. I think in the second row forward video in the preseason, I did say, like, he's obviously not cheap, but like could be a decent pot option given that they've got a good draw, the Eels. And so, yeah, he obviously did quite well in this game. I guess the other encouraging thing is that Sean Lane played the full 80 minutes. So, there was obviously some risk with him, not with Tuolangi on the bench. So, obviously no big attacking stats for Lane. 41 is kind of his floor. But happy to see him at least play 80 minutes. Gutherson, 66 score. A bit inflated because of goal kicking. Moses did pick up, I think it was like a groin issue. Groin or hamstring, or one of the two. I think it was a groin. So, Moses wasn't goal kicking. Can you create an account on Only Hair? Is that even a thing, Mr. Charity? I don't even know if Only Hair is a thing. And guys, what I'll do as well, I will upload the audio, since it sounds like the audio is okay. If anyone obviously is not too happy with the whole visuals and my lagging at the moment, I will upload this in audio on Spotify, so you can at least listen to my thoughts on audio, and that should have not been affected. If there's any cuts, then I'll just edit it out as well. But yeah, you can always see my face on future videos. I just look back on other videos, and yeah, otherwise you can just take a screenshot of my face when it was normal if you really want to see my hair that way. Lustig was great. Yeah, he was pretty good. So he actually played 63 minutes. So that's fairly encouraging. 63 minutes. Brendan Hands only played 17, but I think most of us have probably made our bed if we started with Danny Levi, who we'll get to. What a legend, Danny Levi, when he scooted over from dummy half. I don't know if he's in the chat right now, but Riley O in the lockout countdown stream was like, I'm not playing him, but if he jumps over for a scoot from dummy half and scores a try, that will be all we want. And it played out exactly like he said, which was just fantastic. That's the first person I thought of was Riley O. So minutes seemed a bit up in the air still in terms of between the hookers, Joey Lussick and Brendan Hands. Outside of that, Jermaine Hopgood only played 51 minutes, so still scored well in that time, 61 points, but only playing 51 minutes. I think the appeal with him is when he was playing like 70 plus. Outside of that, Madison pretty solid. He had a stint, just having a look. Only played 32 minutes. Is that true? Did he score 64 points? He had a try assist. Okay, so I missed part of that game. Yeah, so he did have 20 points extra, but would have scored 44 points in about 32 minutes, which is pretty good. Good PPM. And Maddo is that type of player. He's a workhorse when he gets on the field. But outside of that, probably not too much relevance. I mean, Dillbag's pretty solid, 54 points. Did include a kick try assist, so no line break assist associated. I guess the story, Mitch Moses, I think he was on like 32 points after, I want to say 32 points after like 20 minutes, and then he finished the game on 33. Like, just, obviously he was a bit hampered by that injury. He wasn't goal kicking, but yeah, so that would have been very frustrating for anyone who took the chance on Moses. You would have seen Hines and Cleary flop, and you would have been licking your lips. And yeah, you would have been thinking, we're on here, and then he goes and scores 3 points less than Cleary. Not ideal. Who might be suspended? I'm seeing a comment from Darren. He might be suspended next week. Who are we referring to? Is it Spencer Lenu? That's the only person I can think about. Audio's fine. Yeah, cool. Mind, did you score 1,000? If you didn't, I'm unfollowing. Josh Whisperer. Go check him out at 8:30. He'll be giving his thoughts on the round as well on the Insight Fantasy Sports channel. But no, I did not score 1,000. So, Josh, I'm sorry. You're going to have to unfollow me, but please don't. Gazaraki again. What are you doing? Love your laggy boy, by the way. What did you think captaining Ponga and watching pass out and seeing everyone else bottle it as well? Yeah, obviously it was a bit of a roller coaster, right? Like Captain Ponga, first game of this second weekend of round one, ends up on 50, and I'm just like, oh my God, Hines is going to go 80, 90. Cleary can even still do well. When Hines was on 16, like, yes, I was very, very... Hines was on 16, I was very smug, but I didn't tweet anything until Cleary played as well, because Cleary was the most captain player this week. I think it was 24%. And after Cleary flopped as well, 34 points, that's when I made my meme. When Ponga outscored both of them, then I was very happy. Because after that, Moses wasn't very highly captained or owned. Same with Drinkwater. I was kind of like, look, if they score well, it's a little bit annoying, but it's not going to kill me. Whereas Cleary doing well would have killed me. So yeah, I was a bit chuffed that the others flopped a bit, even though they're in my team. It was nice just to know I captained. My thought process was at least panned out correct, captaining the player who I thought was going to score the most out of those big guns. But no, Gazraki, thank you so much. That's really that's really, really generous. I appreciate it a lot. I should hopefully invest in some better internet. I don't know why, because I've got 4 bars of Wi-Fi, but YouTube I think is just having an issue where if you refresh midstream, it just gets scared and doesn't know how to fix itself. So I think that's just what's happening at the moment, because it's actually saying excellent connection. I have no idea why the video would be so laggy. He did kick. He just didn't kick one because he was winded. There is that Nico Hines? Yeah, so Hines didn't kick the first goal, but he kicked the rest of them, so that was probably okay. But yeah, probably not much more out of this Eels game. I think if we talk about Hines and stuff, we can quickly jump over to that Warriors-Sharks game. So obviously Fanua Blake doing very well, scoring that line break try. Similar with Metcalf, he had a really great try where he had obviously a lot of that footwork and stuff. SJ pretty solid with 66, probably was maybe the halfback to captain this week, not Hines, Cleary or Moses. I think he got a lot of points with forced dropouts. I want to see, yeah, he got 30 points in forced dropouts, like 5 forced dropouts. That would have all been in the first half as well. I don't think I've ever actually seen 30 points from forced dropouts before. That's probably the highest ever I've seen. But I think Barnett, great for my draft team, 57. Same as Tohu Harris, 66. Like, honestly, these guys, like Tohu Harris, just like, I don't know, you know that meme of Vince Carter saying, I've got another one in me? That must be Tohu Harris. Like, every season we're just like, oh, he's another year older, can't just keep it up. Like, he's all meat and potatoes. And then you look at his scores every week and you're just like, I would love to have him in my team. You just know he's just going to tackle, make runs, get some occasional attacking stats. Like, he played 80 minutes at lock. He's a boring guy, boring pick, but he just gets you points all the time. So yeah, Tohu Harris, great for my draft team. Very happy with that. Tane Tuapiki as well, 49 points, all in base power. So we'll happily take that from a 277k guy. If he gets any attacking stats in the next 2 weeks, hopefully he gets a longer stint than that. He will definitely make money. So I'm happy to play him, I think, the next 2 weeks as well. Like, I'll definitely play him over Bostock. Like, Bostock has no base. Tuapiki at least has good work rate. And same with RTS, like 46, no major attacking stats. I think I'm happy to be patient with them. Lomax does look a bit tempting, but I think like Lomax against the Finns does look really good next week, and I think he's low 600k price, Lomax. So like he's at a good price. So yeah, he could be like I'm gonna have to think about this one a bit more. He's 630k, so it's not cheap, but yeah, like I can see a lot of people going RTS to Lomax potentially next week. Thoughts on Lomax against the Finns next week? A must. I wouldn't say he's a must, Dean. Like, again, that game I didn't watch the whole thing. I need to go back and watch the minis and see how he looked. But from what I've read and what I've heard from others, apparently he did look quite good. So I do want to see kind of how he went. But yeah, he could definitely be an option. We'll definitely discuss him in next week's kind of preview. I guess not much more out of that game. Mulatalo, again, in my draft team. My draft team killed it this week. So 87 points for Mulatalo. Pretty solid. Happy with that. Talakai as well. Sione Katoa, if anyone took a pod chance on him, I think he ended up on 47, which is fine for his price. Who else we got? We got Ramian 61, scored a try from dummy half. It's a lot of solid scores. One player who did not have a good game was Royce the Choice Hunt. 15 points. I want to say he had lots of points in negative stats. So let's have a quick look here. Yeah, -6 in errors. Like, he just kept offloading and it just kept going to the opposition. So yeah, he obviously did not have a good game. Nico Hines, 26. So he's actually downdated. So he had upgraded to like 32. So he's gone back down again to 26. Trindle, 18. Yeah, very poor. A lot of that was just from the first half. They just had no ball really to attack. And it was a fairly low point scoring game in the end, which it was a little bit, I thought it was going to be a high point scoring game, and it looked that way for the first half. I thought the Warriors were just going to go on and score like 30 plus. Didn't eventuate in the end. How did the Wires lose that game? Yeah, I think the Warriors, like, Sharks defended very well, but I think SJ, like, while he got a lot of forced dropouts, I don't think he had the best game for like end of tackle options. It was a lot of kicks didn't see a lot go through the hands and things to the edges and stuff. It was a lot of, let me just grubber it in and try to get a repeat set, which is not a bad thing, but I think the Sharks were just able to defend just good enough to make sure that they didn't concede and were able to keep turning away those repeat sets. So yeah, kind of felt like at some points the end of tackle options weren't the best. And I think ultimately I have to give credit to the Sharks. They defended very well in that first half towards the back end to not go down by more than I think it was 12-6 at halftime. Do I think AFB can keep the big scores coming, Alex? No, just like I mean, it is unsustainable to be scoring a try like every game. I guess what's encouraging is that he scored 103 so he had 2 line breaks and a try, so we'll keep 1 line break in there. So if you take away 30 points, he still scored 73. So call it 63 in pure base power. Like that's really solid. So 63 in base power from Fanul Blake is really good. But I guess the thing is he's over 700k. A lot of people are just not going to have the money to be going up to him when, Terrell May is like 270k cheaper. And if Fanul Blake's thing is 63 base power, Terrell May's is like 53. We're looking at 10 points difference. And saving 270k. So I just don't think a lot of people are going to have the flexibility to get Fanul Blake in their team. But yes, obviously my guess would be that he doesn't keep getting those really big scores. Probably not much more out of that game to touch on. I'll see if there's any other questions in there. I guess finally on the Knights Raiders, obviously quite a frustrating game. I thought the Knights started really well, but then they just got all clunky in attack. I went the early crow, tweeted a topless photo of Kalen Ponga on Twitter saying, here we go. This is when he created that line break and we thought he set Tyson Gamble up, but then there was obviously an obstruction. He still got paid the points for the line break and the tackle bust, but obviously he didn't get the try assist because it got called back or it got called off. But yeah, otherwise the Raiders did pretty well in the end. Who scored? Yeah, Morgan Smithies, 65 minutes I think he ended up playing. I think if he didn't get, it's hard to say what he would have played if he didn't get that HIA, because if it looks like he's going to be playing 80 minutes at lock, like at his price, he probably gets close to a must because mentioned a couple of times in the preseason, like he's just a work rate like Sean Fensom 2.0, like Tacklebot just loves taking tackles or making tackles. So looking at NRL.com, so he played 68 minutes. So without that HIA, so he pretty much played all of the minutes apart from that HIA. So very keen to see what happens with him next week. I think Corey Horsburgh comes back next week as well. So yeah, very interested to see what the rotation is. If you don't have him already, I think you can wait a week, see what the rotation looks like with Horsburgh. But if it looks like, again, he's going to be playing big minutes, then at 345k probably does look like he's a really good cheapy option to make money. Outside of that, a few of the backs, of course, after I talk down the backs for the Raiders, of course they score well with Hopewadi 79, Rapana 70. Who else we got there? We had, that's kind of it, I think, really, with big scores. Danny Levi, the GOAT. Can we call him the GOAT? With 45 points. He was just getting absolutely rinsed on Twitter and social media. He was like, he's on 11 points after like 38 minutes. Like Sonny Luke 2.0. Donny, we were looking at Danny Luke or Sonny Levi, like all of this chat. Speaking of, we haven't talked about the Panthers game yet. But Sonny Luke scored quite well. But yeah, so he ended up playing big minutes, which is actually quite positive. So he played 56 minutes, which I was expecting 40-40. If he plays 56 minutes a week and he scores like 30 points, I'll take it. At his price, I'll take 30 points. But yeah, so Danny Levi ending up on 45. Look, I was never going to play him. That 45 required a line break try. He would have scored 15 points without it. So yeah, hoping for 30 every week could even be too much just to be asking for. Like we're looking at 15 plus 4, 19 plus 5, 24 in base power. He did get -6 in negative stats as well, which didn't help. So we're looking at 24 base power. So just get 25 to 30 Levi and we'll take it. Did he get injured? I think, I can't remember. I actually can't remember, sorry, Michael. I seem to recall something about him getting some kind of treatment, but completely blanked at the moment, sorry. So I don't actually quite know at the top of my head. But obviously that's Danny Levi. We don't suppose to talk about him too much more. Ethan Strange, 28, that's kind of his flaw. Like, didn't really get amongst the attacking stats a whole heap. On the Knights, so quite interesting stuff here from an injury point of view. So we had Renari Tuala picked up a issue in the end of the first half, so he didn't play the second half. So then Dylan Lucas went to right edge. Kai Pearce-Paul played the left edge and played the full 40 minutes. And then Dylan Lucas actually picked up an issue where I think he was sent off for an HIA and potentially a jaw issue. So, like, if he's out for any length of time, more than like 2-3 weeks, like Kai Pearce-Paul looked really good in his time on the field. He scored, what are we looking at? We're looking at 43 points he scored in one half. And that's all base power. So he made 20 tackles. So we're looking at 19 plus 4, 23 plus 6 in the offloads. So that's 29 plus 14 in runs. So that's 43 all base power in one half. Like, it's probably a little bit different where he may have been coming onto the field a little bit later in the planned rotation. But given that he knew that he was on for 40 minutes and he's just like, you got 40 minutes, just go hard. Maybe that played into it a little bit, but he still looked really good. Like, at least it shows he's got a good work rate if he needs to. And we know he's got a good attacking upside. Like, he scored some tries in the Super League. And if he plays on that left edge, that's a good spot to be playing in. Like, Dylan Lucas himself actually looked really good on that left edge before they had to do this whole rotation. So, I think, yeah, in terms of your question, Stefanos, what I think of KPP, how long is Lucas out for? We don't know what the prognosis is on Dylan Lucas yet, but if he's out for like 2 to 3 weeks, I could see myself making a move for Kai Pearce-Paul, maybe downgrading one of my 4-2 RFs, or if I had the duels, it would have been perfect, but switching like someone like a Jai Arrow to him would have been really nice. I don't have the duel to actually do that, but say you're selling Arrow and say you've got like a Viliame for feeder. If you can do Arrow to like Kai Pearce-Paul via duels, like that feels like a nice move if Lucas is out for a few weeks. Because the thing is that if Pearce-Paul plays, like let's say Lucas is out for say 2 weeks, sometimes the situation is always that maybe Pearce-Paul takes that spot, and then even when Lucas comes back, Pearce-Paul has played so well that's now his spot to lose, and so then Dylan Lucas comes off the bench or maybe gets shifted elsewhere. So that's always one of the potential upsides to jumping on a player early when another player that he's replacing is injured. But obviously there's a risk that maybe Lucas comes back and takes the spots back straight away. But yeah, I think it really comes down to Lucas and his potential injury and how long he's going to be out for. But otherwise, yeah, very keen on Kai Pearce-Paul because we saw a good work rate, and we've seen when we've seen some glimpses in Super League, he has got that ability to get attacking stats in him as well. Outside of that, I think probably the notable ones is obviously Hastings and Frizzell, their scores are bumped up by tries. Marzu and Dan Gagai, 59 points and 56. Both of their scores are pretty much all base power. I think Marzu did have one line break in there. So I think, let me have a quick look at it here. Yeah, he did get one line break, Marzu. So we're looking at 49 base power. In terms of Dan Gagai, I think he got the same. Yeah, like he got 36 points in runs. So yeah, Dan Gagai, 56 points in base power. Like he looks like he's just going to be doing what he did last year, where he was averaging 40 points in base. So I think Gagai, he's obviously very expensive. And I think if you are paying up, I would still prefer Marzu. I'd prefer the winger. You know, he's more likely to get those line breaks and tries and things like that. So yeah, seems as though at least from round one, neither of those two's roles have changed in terms of amount of work rate that they do. Gazaraki, you're too kind. How do I like... I can love heart your super chats. Nice. I'm gonna go back and love heart all of the super chats because apparently I can on YouTube. Got to go. Last question though. Gazaraki, in the future, ask away the questions. No need to donate, even though I appreciate it so much. I'll try to get to everyone's questions. Last question though. Fermor and Lane looked average. Thinking of doing a drastic crap to punt one and get Fafita in. What would you do if you had or both in? I think, if I'm punting one of the two first, it would probably be Beau Fermor. He's got that bye early on, and also if Fafita is going to be back soon, it's going to be at the expense. It depends. If Fermor stays on the left edge and if Foran's back healthy, then that's good for him. But if he moves to the right, then I'm definitely more keen on selling Fermor instead of Sean Lane. But a drastic move to bring back Fafita, I don't know if I'd be jumping on Fafita just because, and I'm assuming this is Dave Fafita, Gazaraki, just because coming back from a pec injury, I do see potential reduction in output from him. Given that, I suspect the chest is an important area when you're fending and tackle busting and stuff. I kind of feel like his output may be a little bit reduced to start off with. And so he's really expensive. He's like 800k plus. So I want to reiterate this week, I think a lot of it is about one, patience, but also I guess trust your gut and trust your eye. If you think they look really bad and you want to make a move to someone else, then obviously go for that as well. And that's something I struggle with sometimes myself, is I'm a bit too slow sometimes to make those kind of moves. So you've got Lane, Piakura, Smithies, Lukey, Fermor, and Chan. Yeah, so you've got quite a few. Piakura and Lukey I'd be happy to keep. So if you wanted to get rid of one of Lane or Fermor, it probably would be both Fermor, but I wouldn't be trying to get rid of both just to get in someone like a Dave Fafita, in my opinion, Gazaraki. Downgrade Arrow to him, Stefanos. Yeah, I like Jai Arrow to Kaipi's Pool if we find out that Lucas is going to be out for some time. I guess finally, Kalen Ponga, I've got no issues with him. Still scored 50 points. Didn't really have much in the way of good, clean attacking play from the Knights. They were very clunky, a lot of drop ball in that game. So yeah, I'm still happy with Ponga for the time being. They've got a really good run as well, long term. I guess the final game I haven't talked about was the Storm Panthers game. So I guess a couple of things from here. Isaiah Yeo, solid as ever, 67 points. And then Taylor May, 67 points as well. He looked really good. So very, very happy with Taylor May. He looks like he's bulked up as well. So it looks like he's actually put on some size, and that probably does help with the tackle busts and everything as well. So yeah, very happy with him. Like 18 points in tackle busts for Taylor May. Had a line break. You take away that one line break, we're looking at 57 points base power. Like very, very happy with that. So Taylor May, he's probably one of those guys who I think if you didn't start with him, I'd be happy to make a move for him in round 2, because I did think he was a pretty good thing from round 1 already. So those are kind of the type of players who I look at as, probably fine to jump on them straight away in round 2, because these are the kind of players I think who have got very high ownership, and if they keep delivering points and you don't jump on them, they're going to hurt. So just try to set up your team, and I think try to get someone like these guys in there. And good point on Fermor from Hoggers. I'm waiting for Foran to play until I judge him. Yeah, no Kieran Foran, as we mentioned, is a big issue for Fermor. He needs, we saw that with Fafita last year. He needed Kieran Foran for him to excel. Good night. Yeah, have a good night, guys. Raki, you've been super, super generous. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Who would be a good downgrade to Anari Tuala? Are you looking to downgrade to Anari Tuala, or I'm assuming you're going to downgrade Anari Tuala? Because I think at his price is I think he was like mid 400s. I think probably it's going to be Labert. Zach Labert around the same price. At the moment, JD looks like the best person to probably go for. I think if you are looking, it's not necessarily a downgrade, but around the similar price. I think, to be honest, I didn't feel like there's a lot to comment from a Supercoach point of view from the Storm Panthers game, just because it was so low scoring. We didn't really learn a lot, apart from Taylor May. It looked really good. Sonny Luke, 62 points. Like, I actually never owned Sonny Luke last season. Thankfully, I avoided that whole issue with him. I'm sure people who owned him last season are aggrieved at seeing 62 points and thinking, where the hell was this last season? So he had 10 offloads. Like, what is going on here? 10 offloads. So was it? No, not 10. Sorry, not 10. Sorry, I got that wrong. 20 points in offloads. That would be 5 points in offloads. Still, 5 offloads is a lot for Sonny Luke. Although he did feel like a bit clunky in the attack. Like, it did feel like he made the attack a little bit less fluid. From my perspective, anyway. But again, a lot of the backs are doing quite well. Sunia Taruva, 51 points. Taylor May, we've already spoken about. Brian Toto, again, no attacking stats, 45. Downgrade to Island, you've already got Zach Labert. Then it's a bit tougher. JD, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Maybe it's not necessarily a downgrade. I think he's a bit more expensive, but Sione Katoa looks good, and he's got Bulldogs and West Tigers next to. Otherwise, you could probably go down to a cheapie. Maybe like I wouldn't probably actually recommend Bostock. Maybe Jesse Arthur's actually. So we haven't fully dug into the Broncos Roosters games, but Jesse Arthur did score 60 points. He's like 376k. He's playing for a good team as well, so probably someone like him is probably who I'd suggest. Harry. So on the Storm side, Eli Katoa looked really, really strong, 66 points. Christian Welch, just like most dependable guy ever. I think he was the only guy who I had last season from round 1 to round 27. And just he gets you between 48 and 56 points each week. That's just what he does, even coming off the bench. Now, Harry Grant, there's a question here from Dean. Are we still happy with Harry Grant? 50 points in a tight game is still nice. Yeah, I'll take 49 points from Harry Grant in a game where it's Penrith. Like, they're the best defense in the comp. They can only score 8 points in the end of Storm. And that's 49 pretty much in base. Historically, he averages around 45, 46 in base. So that's pretty much what he got. So I'd be happy to, like, he has got a tough start as well. Like, I think if you started with Grant, you don't look at lower scores in the first 3 weeks and then decide to sell before his buy in round 4. Unless obviously someone emerges as like you can really downgrade and make, maybe Coruscant comes out and kills it and he's set to make a lot of money. Maybe that downgrade makes sense. But purely from Harry Grant's output, if you like, I'm expecting I'd expected low to mid 60s average in these tough games. But then I think it's after round 4. I think it's actually, no, round 5, they've got the Broncos. Round 6 onwards, they've got a really good run. I kind of want to maybe just hold Harry Grant through that period. And that's what I kind of chose by starting with him, I guess. Yeah, Michael Jesse Arthur, thanks, man. No, all good, JDK. Yeah, I think Jesse Arthur is a fairly decent option. Outside of that, though, probably not a lot of relevance. I guess Joe Chan wasn't the best, only 24 points. Just going to have a quick look at his minutes here. I can't remember. I don't think he played the full 80 from memory. So he could be just a very slow burn, to be honest. Yeah, he played 64 minutes, so 24 points in 64 minutes. Like, yeah, you're not looking at him as a play in your 17s each week, just low work rate. I guess the other one was Pappenhausen, only 30 points. Again, only scoring 8 points. He's not goal kicking as well, so I think Pappy for me, with Ponga and Turbo in my team, I just don't think I'll be looking there until maybe the draw opens up in like round 6. I guess same with Cleary. Like, if you start with Cleary, like, you're not going to be selling him, I think, straight away, just to because he's got that ability to just turn around next week and score like 120 plus. So I think no need to rush on Cleary. And so, yeah, that's kind of my general thoughts, I think, is that a lot of these big gun players, tough matchup, like, you can't really read too much into it. Maybe just very quickly, we've already kind of spoken a bit about, we spoke a bit about, Olukwatu, Turbo, Latrell in last week's content. So I probably won't spend too much time on this particular game. The only thing, and we spoke a lot about Terrell May as well as last week, so I won't spend too much time, I guess, talking about these 2 games. I think the only thing is that if you've got Spencer Lenu, hopefully you were able to plan and keep money in the bank to upgrade him to maybe like a Terrell May. Outside of that, there's probably not a lot of other things to comment on these 2 other games. So that's kind of gone through most of the games. We're hitting about 59 minutes. So I think we'll spend a few minutes on some questions of yours, and then we'll wrap it up there. And yeah, again, apologies for that internet dropout and some of the video lagging. Obviously had to work through that, but hopefully you were able to hear me okay the whole time. And as I said, I will upload this onto Spotify, so you can, and I'll make sure it's edited to keep all of the good stuff and take out any breaks and stuff. But yeah, do give the stream a like as well, guys, if you have at least enjoyed it, my thoughts for round 1. And yeah, if anyone's just catching the back end of this, I would say the pass score for this week is around that mid 800s. I've ended up on 869 at the moment. Terry Green, Talakai is a buy, Leota sell, Cotter to front row, Burbo to second row. Is Talakai a buy? He always is just flat as to deceive. Like he got a try and a try assist, 75 points. In terms, let's see his base power, 4, 6. 6 plus 8 is, what's that, 14? So he got 30 in base power, which is it's actually not that much for Talakai. He normally gets more than that. Look, I mean, they've got Bulldogs and then the West Tigers the next 2 weeks, so he could be a good little pod play, but like, he's not necessarily cheap. He's 569k. Like, nothing out of that game really made me scream to me that he's a must buy. Like, I think he just kind of looked like he always does, which is he'll generally get you around the low 50s average. If he gets 1 or 2 attacking stats, then he'll get you to the 70s and 80s. But yeah, he's not screaming like a must buy to me. The only ones really I think who give me that vibe this week were probably Terrell May, and then maybe if you want to capitalize on a good Cowboys draw, maybe someone like a Labour. One thing actually on the Cowboys I didn't really comment on yet was Ruben Cotter. He only scored about 40-something points, I think. Yeah, only 44 points, which is a little bit disappointing. Him and Max King were a bit disappointing. That was another thing. Max King's minutes, very strange. He only played like 43 minutes, which we suspect him to always be that kind of, 55, 60-minute guy. So, yeah, very strange with the rotation of the Bulldogs middles there. So, keen watch on that one, I think, for next week as well. Because Max King only playing 43 minutes is obviously not an option then. He needs to be around that 55, 60-minute mark, I think, for him to hold value. Just going to quickly check Cotter's minutes. I think Cotter played decent minutes from memory. I would hope so, given that Tamalolo only played 21. He played 52 minutes, so he scored 44 and 52, which is a decent PPM. But yeah, only 52 minutes. I would have hoped for a little bit more minutes from Cotter. I would have been hoping for maybe mid-50s. But yeah, good minutes from like Sam McIntyre on the bench. He played 49. But yeah, Tamalolo obviously was very disappointing. Only 21 minutes in that game. Amani, here we were trying to guess where Cohen Hess's minutes were going to go. Turns out nowhere. Shout out whoever went on Lolo. Yeah, for any Lolo owners out there, that's very, very frustrating and very disappointing. All right, guys, I think we probably, not too many questions coming in, so I think we'll probably wrap it up there. Hopefully you all enjoyed. We'll be back hopefully on Tuesday evening. If not, we'll be back on Wednesday to preview round 2. So hit a like on the stream on the way out if you did enjoy it. I'll try to upload this onto Spotify as soon as I can. And keep firing your questions in on my socials just to help form the content for next week. But hopefully you all enjoyed it. Don't rage trade too much on come tomorrow, because I think it seems everyone scored fairly low. So don't stress too much about it. We're all in this together, unless you own Labour, Val Holmes, and Zach Lomax type players. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Apologies again for that whole internet issue. Hopefully it's better from the next stream. We'll leave it there. Thanks everyone, and see you in the next one.